What if I told you that some of the battles that you are facing in your life right now were not meant to destroy you, but God testing you, training you for what is coming? We are going to look at Judges 2 and 3 and see how God allowed the Israelites to face warfare, teaching them how to war. Not because God abandoned them, He was training them. The Bible says that He teaches my hands to war. And so could it be that the intense spiritual warfare you're facing right now is not a sign of failure, but a sign of divine training? We are going to look at Judges 3, verse 1 all the way to verse number 3. For us to understand what was going on, we have to go back to verse 20 of chapter number 2. And I read, "Therefore the Lord was very angry with Israel and said, because this nation has violated the covenant that I laid down for their forefathers and has not listened to me, I will no longer drive out before them any of the nations that Joshua left when he died. I will use them to test Israel and see whether they will keep the way of the Lord and walk in it as their forefathers did." The Lord had allowed those nations to remain. He did not drive them out at once by giving them into the hands of Joshua. These are the nations the Lord left to test all those Israelites who had not experienced any of the war in Canaan. He did this only to teach warfare to the descendants of the Israelites who had not had previous battle experiences. They were left to test the Israelites to see whether they would obey the Lord's commands, which He had given their forefathers through Moses. Some of the battles you're facing, huge, intense spiritual warfare, it's meant to prepare you, to train you for what is coming, to know how to pray, to know how to wage war. We do not wage war against flesh and blood. We war against powers and principalities, evil forces, the battles of a believer. What you are facing right now, it is not against flesh and blood. There is more than what you see with your physical eyes. And God has allowed that in your life to train you, to save your generation, to save your family. Gideons, Josephs. And so God has to put you on a training ground so that you know how to pray, you know how to denounce and renounce things that have kept your family in bondage. God has chosen you to go through the pain so that the whole generation, the whole family can be set free. It's not because that you are the worst sinner. No, it's the pain that you have gone through as a child belonging in that family. Seeing your family suffer, seeing your children suffer, seeing your brothers and sisters suffer, and the pain that you're feeling right now. It is God that has permitted that as a wake-up call for you. In verse 9 of chapter number 3, "But when they cried to the Lord raised for them a deliverer." And I believe that that is what God is doing in our time. As a believer, as a child of God, you are not going through the intense spiritual warfare because you are the worst sinner. It's because God has seen the potential in you. God has chosen you as a deliverer for your family, as a deliverer for your generation. Continue being strong. Continue seeking the Lord. Pray and fast. Feed yourself with the word, and God is going to strengthen you in the journey of your healing and the deliverance of your family. When you start to notice some evil patterns in your life, in your family, that is enough sign that God is telling you this has been a pattern in the family, is a cycle, and it's going to continue unless you stand up and do something about it. If you don't wake up and deal with this pattern, it's going to touch you. It's going to touch your children. Many people today, they are going through pain and suffering because of things that they know nothing about. And unfortunately, most deliverers in families, they suffer the most. These are the Josephs, and that is part of the process. As a Joseph in that family, you are going to be rejected. You'll be called crazy. You are going to suffer many things. Even Christ suffered so that humanity would get saved. Part of the process. But one thing about the process, the Bible says that God was with Joseph. He never left Joseph, even in the prison. And even you today, God is not going to leave you. He's not going to forsake you. They may want to harm you, but God will not allow it to happen in your life, because there's an assignment and a divine purpose for your life.